A bold rejection. Ukraine rebuffs the U.S. minerals deal. Ukraine has sent a clear message to the world by rejecting a proposed minerals deal with the United States. This decision underscores Ukraine's intent to maintain control over its own natural resources. This unexpected move has significant implications for both countries and the broader geopolitical landscape. Analysts are now debating the potential fallout and what this means for future U.S.-Ukraine relations.
The decision highlights our determination to chart our own course, emphasizing our sovereignty and independence in the face of international pressures. Even as we grapple with an ongoing conflict that has left parts of our country in ruins and displaced countless citizens, and rely heavily on foreign aid. The international community has been instrumental in providing support, but this decision shows that Ukraine is not willing to compromise its autonomy. The proposed deal, which would have given the U.S. significant control over our mineral resources, has been met with resistance from Kiev. Lawmakers and citizens alike have voiced their concerns. Ukrainian officials have voiced concerns about the terms of the agreement, particularly the proposed 50% ownership stake for American companies. This level of control was seen as unacceptable. This has raised alarm bells in Ukraine, where many see the deal as a threat to our national sovereignty. Public demonstrations have erupted, with citizens demanding that their government protect Ukraine's interests. The international community is watching closely, as this decision could set a precedent for other nations facing similar deals. The economic implications are vast, and the political ramifications could reshape alliances. President Zelensky has reiterated that Ukraine will continue to seek partnerships that respect its sovereignty and benefit its people, but not at the cost of its independence. As Ukraine moves forward, the resilience and determination of its people remain at the forefront, showcasing a nation that is steadfast in its pursuit of self-determination and prosperity.
A lifeline: U.S. military and financial aid to Ukraine. This aid has been a cornerstone of Ukraine's resilience in the face of ongoing conflict and instability. The U.S. has been a crucial ally for Ukraine since the outbreak of the conflict in 2014. Over the years, this alliance has only grown stronger, with the U.S. providing not just military support, but also diplomatic backing on the international stage. American military aid, including weapons systems and training, has been instrumental in bolstering Ukraine's defenses. Advanced weaponry, tactical training, and intelligence sharing have significantly enhanced the capabilities of the Ukrainian armed forces, enabling them to better withstand aggression. Financial assistance from the U.S. has also been vital in stabilizing Ukraine's economy and providing humanitarian relief to those affected by the conflict. Billions of dollars have been funneled into various sectors, from infrastructure rebuilding to healthcare, ensuring that the nation can continue to function despite the turmoil. This support, however, has not come without conditions. The U.S. has leveraged its aid to push for political and economic reforms within Ukraine, aiming to foster a more transparent and democratic governance structure. The proposed minerals deal is seen by many analysts as a quid pro quo, a way for the U.S. to secure access to Ukraine's strategic resources in exchange for its continued support. Ukraine's rich deposits of rare earth minerals and other valuable resources have become a focal point in this geopolitical chess game. This has put Ukraine in a difficult position, caught between its need for assistance and its desire to protect its national interests. Balancing these demands requires careful diplomacy and strategic foresight as Ukraine navigates its path forward amidst external pressures and internal challenges.
At the heart of the matter, the proposed deal and Ukraine's concerns. This deal has sparked a significant amount of debate and controversy, both within Ukraine and on the international stage. The proposed minerals deal would have granted American companies a 50% ownership stake in the extraction and development of Ukraine's vast mineral reserves. This is a substantial share, considering the immense value and strategic importance of these resources. These reserves include lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements, all of which are crucial for modern technologies like electric vehicles and smartphones. The demand for these minerals is skyrocketing as the world shifts towards greener technologies and digital advancements. The deal would have given the US a significant foothold in a strategically important region, securing access to resources that are in high demand globally. This would not only bolster the US economy, but also enhance its geopolitical influence. Ukraine, however, has expressed serious reservations about the deal. The Ukrainian government and its citizens are worried about the potential loss of control over their own natural resources and the long-term implications for their sovereignty. One of the main sticking points is the lack of security guarantees. Ukraine is seeking assurances that its national security will not be compromised as a result of this deal. The agreement does not explicitly commit the US to defending Ukraine in the event of further aggression. This omission is particularly troubling for Ukraine, given its recent history and ongoing security challenges. This is a major concern for Kyiv, given the ongoing conflict in the eastern part of the country. The region has been a hotspot of tension and violence, and Ukraine fears that without solid security guarantees, the deal could leave them vulnerable to further destabilization. Analysts around the world are closely watching the developments, as the outcome of this deal could have far-reaching implications for global markets and international relations. The stakes are high, and both sides have much to consider before moving forward. Public opinion in Ukraine is divided, with some seeing the deal as an opportunity for economic growth and modernization, while others fear it could lead to exploitation and loss of national autonomy. The government must navigate these complex sentiments as it deliberates on the proposed agreement. Ukraine's history of striving for independence and self-determination adds another layer of complexity to the situation. The nation's leaders are acutely aware of the need to balance economic opportunities with the preservation of their hard-won sovereignty. As negotiations continue, the international community will be watching closely. The outcome of this deal could set a precedent for future agreements involving resource-rich nations and powerful global players. The world waits to see how Ukraine and the US will navigate this intricate and high-stakes negotiation.
The stakes of the game: critical minerals and strategic assets. The standoff over Ukraine's mineral resources highlights the growing importance of critical minerals in the 21st century. These minerals are essential for a wide range of technologies, from renewable energy to defense systems. As global demand for these resources continues to rise, control over their supply chains is becoming increasingly strategic. Ukraine's vast mineral deposits make it a key player in this emerging geopolitical chess game. The country's location, bordering both Russia and the European Union, further amplifies its strategic significance. By rejecting the US minerals deal, Ukraine is signaling its intention to leverage its resources to advance its own interests. A troubled past US-Ukraine relations under strain, the current impasse over the minerals deal comes against the backdrop of strained relations between the US and Ukraine. The Trump administration's approach to Ukraine was often transactional, characterized by a focus on personal interests and a disregard for diplomatic norms. This approach damaged trust between the two countries and created an atmosphere of suspicion that continues to linger. The Biden administration has sought to repair the damage and reaffirm US support for Ukraine. However, the legacy of the Trump era continues to cast a long shadow. The proposed minerals deal, with its echoes of past exploitation, has rekindled old anxieties about Ukrainian sovereignty and US intentions. A question of sovereignty, navigating international aid and alliances. Ukraine's decision to reject the US minerals deal raises important questions about the complexities of international aid and alliances. On the one hand, Ukraine is heavily reliant on foreign assistance to defend itself against aggression and rebuild its economy. On the other hand, Ukraine is determined to assert its sovereignty and chart its own course, free from external pressure. This dilemma is not unique to Ukraine. Many countries around the world face similar challenges, balancing the need for assistance with the imperative of protecting their national interests. The case of Ukraine highlights the delicate balance that must be struck between these competing priorities.
The path forward, potential outcomes and scenarios. The standoff over Ukraine's mineral resources could unfold in several ways. One possibility is that the US and Ukraine will return to the negotiating table and hammer out a revised agreement that addresses Ukraine's concerns. Another possibility is that Ukraine will seek alternative partnerships with other countries or private companies interested in investing in its mineral sector. A third scenario is a prolonged stalemate, with neither side willing to compromise. This would likely result in a lose-lose situation, with Ukraine missing out on potential investment and the US failing to secure access to critical resources. The outcome will depend on a complex interplay of factors, including domestic politics, geopolitical considerations, and economic interests.
A new world order implications for the geopolitical landscape. Ukraine's decision to reject the US minerals deal is a sign of the changing times. The post-Cold War order, characterized by US hegemony, is giving way to a more multipolar world. Middle powers like Ukraine are becoming increasingly assertive, leveraging their strategic assets to advance their own interests. This shift has profound implications for the global balance of power. The US can no longer take for granted its access to resources or its ability to dictate terms to other countries. As the competition for critical minerals intensifies, we can expect to see more such standoffs as countries seek to secure their place in the new world order.